You're still listening to Salam Media with myself, Salino Makwidiri. The show is News and Views. This is your show. This is a show that we want you to engage and be a part of. And if you want to send out your comments or, give feedback on any of the topics that we've touched on, well, you can give us a dial. Our studio line is 011-6800-355. And our WhatsApp line is 061-760-355. On Twitter or X, for those that prefer to call it X, well, you can search at Salam Media. The show's hashtag is hashtag News and Views. And in a bit, we'll be speaking to Alison Tilly. And we'll be touching on MK Party parliamentary leader John Hlophe, who will be representing the National Assembly on the Judicial Service Commission. And funny enough, Hlophe was removed by the JSC in a historic vote by the National Assembly, but now will be a parliamentary leader to make sure that all the judges and of the country are kept in check. So it's going to be an interesting one because the same organization that he'll now be a part of is the one that removed him and stripped him of his title there. And in a bit, we'll be joined by Alison Tilly from Judges Matter, who will be giving us their thoughts on this issue. Alison, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Salam Media. Really appreciate your time.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I think first and foremost, I think if you could start by explaining just the significance of the Judicial Service Commission, the JSC in South Africa's judicial system, and why its composition is so crucial.
So the JSC is the body that chooses our judges. It was put in place by the Constitution and legislation. And what it does is it brings together judges, the executive, and the legal profession, as well as legal academics, in order to put people into a room to make sure that the right judges are appointed. The JSC does play a role in holding judges accountable. So where there are disciplinary matters involving judges, conduct issues, that the JSC also gets involved there. But the main part of its workload is bringing all these people together, including politicians, and of course that's the issue right now. Politicians from the NA and the NCOP, and they also sit on the JSC.
I want us now to focus on Hlophe's election. Judge John Hlophe, who was previously found guilty of gross misconduct by the JSC, has now been elected to the same makeup organization. What does his election, signify for the integrity and credibility of the JSC?
Well, look, we're super concerned about Dr. Hlophe coming onto the JSC. The JSC is in a position where it has to really appoint the best and the brightest that we have to the judiciary. One of the issues that it must do is make sure the candidates are fit and proper. And I mean, that's the requirement. And this literally would be a situation where somebody who has been removed as a judge, unheralded, unprecedented in our entire history. He's only one of two people who've been removed in this way. And he would be sitting and interviewing people and asking them integrity questions and questions about ethics when he himself has been removed as a judge. It's a really, unusual, disturbing situation and a gap, in terms of the rules. But it's certainly something that we're very concerned about, we think shouldn't happen.
Mm. I think if there's one thing that's been standing out, I think for those that might be supporting the election of Judge Hlophe, they'll always point to his legal qualifications, his experience. How do these credentials weigh against his history of misconduct and the concerns raised by his critics like yourselves?
Well, I think the question of his qualifications is actually not relevant. If you look at the members of parliament who go to the JSC, they are not necessarily lawyers. Their role is to be the representatives of the people on the JSC. Many of those representatives from Parliament, the NA and the NCP, do have legal qualifications. Some don't, but that is not the role that they are there to play. And so that's essentially the fact that he's qualified. There are many lawyers in the room, in addition to the members of the NA and the NCOP, including the Chief Justice. So the fact that he was a former judge is no qualification. In fact, that's precisely the problem. He was a judge. He is not a judge anymore, and it's because of a lengthy and very thoroughly contested process. And he was removed, from Parliament, by Parliament with that impeachment vote.
Mm, mm. There have been mentions of potential legal challenges to Hlophe's appointment. What legal grounds might be used to contest his position, and how likely are these challenges to succeed?
Well, I think to break it down, I think the challenges will happen. The grounds on which the challenge will be based will, I think, be Section 165 of the Constitution, which says that organs of state must assist and protect the courts to ensure the independence, impartiality, dignity, accessibility, and effectiveness of the courts. So in other words, the point that Parliament has to protect the courts. And the argument will go, will not be protecting the courts. And the second argument is one in under a category which is called administrative law, which is where you can look at whether a decision maker is rational. I mean, you can also ask whether they're reasonable, and they're sort of two different terms. But the argument in this case is that it is an irrational decision, and I think you'll go back to other situations where the court is where executives or administrators have made irrational decisions and then had them set aside. So that's the.
I want us to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want us to focus on the impact on judicial independence. I think you mentioned that so some of the challenges might be based on the independence, impartiality, and effectiveness of the judiciary in South Africa. But on a broader scale, what implications could Hlophe's presence on the JSC have for South Africa's judiciary and the effectiveness thereof? But we can touch a bit on that after the break.
With all the distractions, when do they even get time to study? As a mother, all I can really do is make sure they have all they need to perform at their best. That's why I choose to include Sunfoil, triple refined pure sunflower oil with every meal I make. Naturally cholesterol-free and approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a balanced eating plan. So whether I'm cooking, frying, or baking, I know every dish will be a wholesome one. Sunfoil, now we're cooking.
Contact Lenasia Livestock and Poultry for all your sadaka, akika and kurbani requirements. We offer clean, hygienic abattoir style and refrigeration facilities. Sheep, goats and cows are available at competitive market-related prices, direct to the public. We slaughter, slice and distribute on your behalf, but that's not all. Introducing Meatmasters Halal Butchery, our sister company situated on our farm in Lenasia. Unbeatable prices on lamb, beef and chicken. Lenasia Livestock and Poultry. Livestock is our business. We are Sanha approved. Telephone 011 857 1774. Call now.
After the recent attacks on Gaza, many families have been displaced with their homes left destroyed. Through your donations, our teams are on the ground in Gaza, providing support and delivering necessary aid to families affected. The people of Gaza need your help. Give hope. Donate today to Penny Appeal South Africa. www.pennyappeal.org.za 031 1100 573.
We are here on the ground with many appeal organizations in Gaza.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042 203 1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
Valley's Motor Spares. We supply motor spares and accessories for all makes and models of motor cars, LDVs, buckies, trucks, and earth-moving equipment. We deliver on time, every time. Please contact us via WhatsApp on 014-592-0925 or call 014-592-0925 or visit 28 Zenderling Street, Rustenburg. Remember the name, Valley's Motor Spares.
Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
Welcome back. You're still tuned in to Salam Media with myself, Salano Makwidir. The time is 23 minutes past 8, and we're still speaking to Alison Tilley, who's joining us via StreamYard, dissecting the appointment of former Judge Hlophe to the South African Judicial Services Commission in Parliament. Alison Tilley is the coordinator of Judges Matter. Alison, thank you so much for staying with us. Before we went to the break, I wanted to touch a bit on, what implications could former Judge Hlophe's presence on the JSC have for the independence, impartiality, and effectiveness of the judiciary in South Africa?
Well, I think the complication will be that it won't be possible, I think, for him to interview candidates. I think candidates will be in a position where they would object to his being part of the interview panel or the JSC itself. I think the other judges will have difficulty with him being there, and we know that some of the political parties will have a difficulty with him being there. So it really will frustrate the proceedings in the JSC. And I'm aware that there are moves to litigate the matter. This isn't something that should have to go to a court. This is something that Parliament did, and Parliament's creating the problem, and Parliament should fix it. But I think that really what's going to happen is we're going to run into a situation where it's just going to be really difficult to run the JSC interviews, and it's going to become very, very highly contested. And, we're desperately short of judges as it is. And to have that process run into, difficulty is it's really concerning.
I think, for the longest time, South Africa's judiciary has been seen as one of the last remaining, effective organs of the state. It's one that a lot of South Africans still have a lot of confidence in. But what message does Hlophe's election send, to the broader public about the state of judicial accountability and the general rule of law in South Africa?
Yeah, look, I think it's extremely unfortunate. I think it's saying, that Parliament will put its own interests and its own rules ahead of, the interests of the judiciary. And I think people are quite right. We have been very proud of our judiciary and certainly feel that we feel that they've held the line against state capture and really been able to push back on bad governance in many different cases over a number of years. So I think that this is really it's a slap in the face of the JSC to be sending somebody to the JSC who has been impeached and is one of two judges who's been impeached ever in the history of South Africa. That this is, and for a very serious, any impeachment is serious, but for an attempt to try and influence the judicial process. So it's, it's really worrying.
And just lastly, Alison, what do you think, are the most important actions that both the public and the judiciary need to take to address the situation and to prevent similar issues in the future? Because, precedents looks like it has already been set.
Look, I think the matter's looks like it's going to be litigated. We're going to be back in the courts again, trying to fix broken politics. The that matter would be dealt with, but I think ordinary citizens should be very disturbed about this and frankly talking to the people that they voted for and asking them how on earth it came to be that I think one of the things that we can say about the last election is that people were really voting for clean government. And I think that this is an opportunity to say to the people that you voted for, is this what we mean by clean government? Because, I don't think that is. I don't think that's what people voted for.
No, I think we're going to leave it there. Alison, thank you so much for joining us and giving us insight on the appointment of former Judge John Hlophe to the JSC. We're going to leave it here for now. I really, really appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Thank you so much. Well, there you have it there. Alison Tilley from Judges Matter giving us her insight on the appointment of former Judge Hlophe, who was, removed, fired and stripped of his title by the same Judicial Service Council, the JSC, and now going to be serving on the same organization, the same portfolio and makeup in the National Assembly that impeached him. So, as you heard from Alison, there are going to be challenges to his appointment, for those that support him, it's going to be really, really interesting times. And for those that are critics and feel like, he shouldn't be holding that particular portfolio, I think it's going to be interesting times also to see whether or not he will be impeached and his appointment will be challenged. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I had a really, really interesting interview yesterday that we're going to be playing in a bit as our hashtag heard on air. And it's that terrorist bomb scare at the Durban Mosque, which happened in the early hours of Monday morning. We spoke to Yusuf Desai, who's the Durban North Mosque trustee, who unpacked all the details for us. The story is still unfolding. Investigations are still underway. And the perpetrators, the people that dropped off, what looked like a bomb, a homemade bomb into the mosque, are being investigated. There are some leads. The last time I heard from Yusuf, but they didn't want to, explain further on the matter because it's still a very, very sensitive one. So I think listen to this, especially if you are in the Durban North area, and you can also give us your thoughts about how you're feeling right now. Are you scared to go to the mosque, or you are now more motivated than ever, to go to the mosque? I mean, when I spoke to Yusuf yesterday, he even said a lot more people are coming into the mosque to make their shahada. So really, really interesting what's happening in that part of the world. But if you are in the Durban North area, you can give us a call 061 766 0355. Or you can send us a WhatsApp message on the same number, 061-766-0355. But if you want to interact on air with myself, the number is 01168000355. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's hashtag heard on air, and you'll be hearing from Yusuf Desai, Durban North Mosque trustee, who unpacked the details of that terrible terrorist bomb scare at the Durban Mosque, which he said is an obvious case of Islamophobia. More on that after this.